So we're starting on our back. If you're just coming into class and you want to make sure you have some water with you, because not that we're going to do it's not a schwitzing active class, but you want to always stay hydrated. Make sure you have a couple of blankets. If you don't have yoga blankets, you'll see various towels. I got a beach towel, I got a bath towel. I'm lousy with towels. So just make sure you have some soft stuff, soft props. And when you're ready, come to lying on your back. I sometimes when you're on your back, I'll be seated just so you could hear me a little better. And when you come to lying on your back, if it's available to you, when you come to the mat, first lie down with your palms up, your head down, your legs straight, just to see how your body meets the mat, where you're weighted, where you need support, rather than automatically putting support where maybe you don't need it. And then if you want a blanket or a towel under your head, or if you want to bend your knees completely, have your feet down, resting your knees together like this. So the knees would be here and your feet would be where my elbows are. So after you've had a chance to have some mat time to notice what's going on with your body, give yourself cozy time. And I was thinking today, I don't know why, about craving. Maybe because I crave chocolate all the time, but I was thinking that we might in our mind crave things, but our body might crave something else. And I think what happens with yoga, sometimes the mind wants the activity, but the body, especially in the evening, may crave a very gentle practice like this one. So if that's what you're craving, I hope I give you what you need. So as you lie down, again, you can notice things like, what part of my back is the heaviest? So usually when we're lying down, our shoulder girdle, upper part of our shoulder girdle is the heaviest. And ideally, we want to get a little bit of the mid rib area down. So in between the shoulder blades, those ribs. And oftentimes that's not down. So you can notice that. I'm noticing that my low back curve goes all the way up to my mid back. So maybe by the end of the class, we can have that curve a little more discreet down above the top of the pelvic rim. So after you've explored, when you're ready, bend your knees and place your feet parallel and just have the legs alert enough so they don't tip out or tip in, unless you're uncomfortable, and then you can let the inner knees rest on each other while we do the first few movements. So I also thought we'd do some nice things for our backs today. Remember, any movement we do, don't go to your edge, even though it's a gentle class. If you have an injury or an instability in a part of the body, even a gentle move can aggravate it. So just pay attention to what your body is telling you. So start with your arms by your side, palms facing your hips, fingertips pointing to the wall opposite you. Outside edge of the pinky finger is on the mat. So right there, relax your shoulders down. You don't have to pull them down, but relax your shoulders down. Keep the arms a little alert to keep them in this position. Bring your awareness to your collarbone area. And the next time you inhale without force, just take a long, leisurely inhale, breathing into your upper chest. Maybe you'll feel a little rise in the collarbone area, and exhale and let that go. The next time you inhale, start lifting your right arm up a little at a time and stop when and if your fingertips reach the ceiling. Okay, so if you can't get up that high, you have a shoulder injury, it might be lower, that's fine. So again, that's what we're exploring. Take another breath here. Inhale, and as you exhale, see if you can keep your elbow straight. This is important. And reach your arm back behind you. So you might end up here or here. I already did this today, so I can get my thumb tip usually to the ground. There happens to be some blankets there, so I can get my thumb tip to those blankets here. So just notice your maximum stretch, and then slowly bring your arm back to the halfway point, and then bring it down. Good. Let's do the other arm. Take your left arm up, high as halfway reaching toward the ceiling. So it's the height of your shoulder, really. Pause there, relax the shoulder down. You might really feel the shoulder blade of the left side when you lift the arm. And then keeping the elbow straight and also not taking the arm out to the side. You're going to keep it in line with your body. Reach that arm a little bit behind you. Don't let the arm take over. You stay in control of how far that arm is going to come back. Pause where you think is a good stretch for your arm, good length. And then when you're ready, you're going to bring that down to your side. So now that you have that, we're going to add in the legs. They're not as tricky. So we're going to extend one arm and one leg at the same time. So let's start. Take the left leg out, flex the ankle, and have the knee pointing up as opposed to a resting leg kind of waddling out to the side. So when you're ready, as you inhale, stretch the right arm up. Exhale when you get into position that's comfortable, and then take a full breath in. And then as you exhale, bend the left knee, bring it back, bring your right arm down. This time we'll sync the inhale with the leg and arm together. So inhale, your right leg and your left arm away from each other. Keep your head relaxed. Exhale, and then take a nice inhale. Breathe into your collarbones. As you exhale, bring the foot back and bring the arm back. Let's do 2 more rounds of this, remembering not to go to your end range. Inhale, left leg, right arm. Exhale there. Inhale again. And as you exhale, bring the limbs back down. Inhale, right leg, left arm. Again, you might be here. Exhale here. Inhale again, expand your chest. Exhale, bring them on back. And let's do one more round. Inhale, the right arm and the left leg. Now pause here, just keep breathing. But when we do this stretch, in addition to stretching the limbs, we're also inviting, if you think about if you're wearing like a not a badge, like a sash, and have the sash going from your right armpit chest down the body to your hip. So think of that line there, that sash line. And on an inhale, breathe into that sash. So you're stretching a little bit on the diagonal here. And on your next exhale, bring the limbs back. You can always take another breath between the sides. And then the last one, right leg, left arm. So now your sash is going to be where they usually wear it, right? From the right shoulder to the left hip. So see if you can get a sense of a sash being there. You can even place your hand on your front of your hip or in your left armpit chest, your free hand. And as you inhale, breathe into that diagonal length. Left armpit to right hip, stretch along that diagonal. And then as you exhale, come back to center. Now let's just even that off instead of going back and forth side to side. Inhale your arms again up halfway, less than half, more than half, wherever you feel is appropriate for you. If when you take your arms away, if your ribs pop up, that means either you have to consciously pull your ribs down like I just did, or your arms, not everyone's arms come as far as this. Now from here, pick a leg, stretch that leg out. Now, if it feels okay, stretch your other leg out. Flex the ankles gently, make sure the backs of your heels are down. Inhale here. This is as if you were standing. This would be Urdhva Hastasana right here. Take a breath. Feel the length in your side body from hip to armpit on both sides. Take 2 breaths if you like. And then when you're ready, bend your knees, bring the arms down, pause, and then ease over to your most comfortable side. Pause there, and then make your way to quadruped pose, hands and knees. We're going to do some cat-cow variations. So we're sure to get in some back bending and some forward bending. If your knees are sensitive or unhappy, you can, excuse me, take a folded blanket or towel under your knees to pad them up. And we'll go through the 2 ways of experiencing this. I'll show you that right now. So just a reminder, if you don't need to hear this, just start your cat-cowing. But I can't tell if there's anyone maybe new here. So regular cat-cow that we're all familiar with, you inhale into the back bend. And you exhale, you take this really very delicious stretch, bringing your forehead toward your pubic bone. But another way to experience it, and this is more appropriate if you have osteoporosis or osteopenia, is elevating your hands. You can elevate them on blocks or just come onto your fingertips. The inhale is the same back bend. But as exhale, instead of rounding into the cat back, we slide our hips back toward our heels and keep the low back lifted. So don't let the low back collapse. I'm really exaggerating my arch here. So we keep a little lift in the low back. It's almost like a bow. And the inhale is the same. And even if you don't have osteoporosis and osteopenia, you might like doing this forward bend just for a change. Sometimes when I do cat-cow, I alternate between the two. Remember, when you're doing your back bend, we're very flexible in our low back and our neck. So we could sail our head and our tuchus up, but where is the back bend going to be? Right in the low back. Or we want our back bends to help open the areas where we're less flexible in the upper back. So when you're inhaling into your back bend, think about length more than how much you can tip your hips up and how much you can fling your head up. Firm your arms, firm your legs, and then exhale and take the forward bend of your choice. Of course, you can rest in between. Also, if you want to toss in a downward facing dog, feel free to do that instead of the forward bend. So if you wish, on an exhale, you could tuck your toes, bring a little more distance between your wrists and your feet, and sail the hips up and back. So that could be that is all kind of a forward bend. This is downward dog has a lot of qualities to it. It's an partial inversion as well. So you could do down dog for your forward bend. And just do one or two more rounds of cat-cow with variations. Throwing in a down dog if you like. And then after your next forward bend, whether it is a down dog or one of the forward bends that I showed you, the two variations of cat, when you're finished with that, come to sitting. And then you might want to take a blanket underneath your hips because you might need some padding there. Whenever I'm sitting, I'll only tell you if I'm doing a seat that I would like you to try as well. So you don't have to sit cross-legged now. You can take props underneath you, do whatever you like. We're just going to come into our arms a little bit because we want to help give ourselves a pat on the back. We have to have our arms kind of loose as well. So just start here by crisscrossing your arms in front of your chest, but don't let your chest sink in. Keep your ribs lifted away from your hips and your ribs calm. And just do a few of these simple movements. As you inhale, open your arms, and you don't have to bring them out all the way. Elbows in line with the shoulders. You can have them a little forward. And as you exhale, bring the arms back in. So when we open the arms, think that you're opening the gates of the front yard and the chest is open and the shoulder blades are coming toward the spine. And when we exhale, we're closing the gates in the front yard, but our shoulder blades are widening away from the spine. So that's what we're trying to notice here. Do you feel your shoulder blades moving? Now, sometimes we have so much tension and tightness in the muscles of the upper back that we don't feel the sliding and gliding action of the shoulder blades. You could also add a few more pieces in here. For example, when you crisscross your arms, you could drop your chin down. And when you open your arms into like this goalpost thing, you can open your eyes really wide if you like, or tip your nose slightly up, just slightly. You can also switch which arm is always landing on top. And just do one or two more here. And again, this is more about what's going on in your back, how you're moving your arms, and how that affects the shoulder girdle. The next time your arms are open, turn the palms to face each other and extend the arms up and straight as high as you can. Wiggle the fingers a little bit, wiggle the fingers. And then when you're ready, bring your arms down. When I'm doing a number of seated postures in a row, I like to always keep switching which leg is in front, or sometimes I switch my seat altogether. So you may want to do the same. So now take your right arm take it out to the side, lower than your shoulder with the thumb down. Hopefully you can see that with the lighting here. Now bend the elbow. So the lower arm is kind of dripping down. Now see if you could take that arm across your back waist. I'm gonna see if you can see my fingers here. Well, no, you can't see them, but they're there. So you take that across your back waist. Don't pull, pinch, or struggle with the arm. Take a breath here. And then slowly release that arm. Do the same with your left arm. So you're gonna point thumb down, bend, slide it across your back waist. Take a breath here, relax the shoulder. Make sure your belly is drawing in on the exhale so you're not collapsing your low back. Good. Take that arm out, join your hands together, curl your fingers together, making a fist, then release just your pointer fingers. We call this, you probably heard, steepling your hands, and aim your fingers toward the ceiling, but only go up as high as you can. When the arms come up, the shoulders are going to lift, so you can't keep your shoulders completely down here, and make sure you're not hitting yourself in the head, so your head might peek through your arms, maybe not. You might end up being here, you might be here. Wherever you are, just drop your right elbow down a little bit, and then bring that up and drop the left elbow down a little bit. And then you can either lower your arms or lift them higher if you find you have that availability. And then again, right elbow down, lengthen the arms up, left elbow down, lengthen the arms up. Good. Lower the arms, interlace the fingers again, and flip the palms and stretch the arms forward. You can have them bent. And then turn the palms to face you. Notice which pinky is on the bottom and which thumb is on top, and switch the interlace. And then press forward again. Might be a very different experience. You can bring the arms up if you like. And then lower the arms, release the fingers, and roll your wrists around. Then left arm again. Take it out, thumb down, bend the elbow. It's kind of like a, I don't know, a zombie type arm thing here. Bring it behind your back. Now, sometimes people do this with a strap. So when you see what we're doing, if you like to add a strap, you can, but the strap makes us strive to reach a certain way. So now the arm could be here or it could be across your back. So you're just going to work with what you got. And then you're going to try and wiggle your forearm so it's not vertical, but so the hand comes onto your shoulder blade area. You can give yourself a pat on the back. Relax your shoulders. Now take your other arm, it'll be your left arm, reach that arm in front of you with the palm up, bend the elbow, give yourself a pat on the shoulder, and then move that hand to more the middle of your upper back, not the neck. So it could be on the shoulder, behind the shoulder if you can, middle, upper, or back, and you might find the fingertips, but don't strive to cling, because sometimes that just makes us pop our ribs forward. And what we really want to do here is a number of things, including open the back and the chest. Take a full breath here. Inhale and exhale. And then slowly release your arms and just let them drop down. Notice if you feel a little more open in the back or the front. And then we'll do the other side. So now your left arm out. I won't turn behind, but hopefully I'll describe those things to you. Bend the elbow. Slide it across your back waist. I'm going to see, you can't really see them. So my fingers are over here. So from here, this is where you might be. Your forearm parallel like this behind you. But if you can, you're going to start crawling your forearm up a little bit toward your spine. And you'll find that one side is a lot different from the other. And when you get that form in a place that you can maintain, don't torture yourself, take the other arm forward, bend the elbow, give yourself a little pat. You could also do that with the back hand. I'm patting myself on the back with both hands. And then you can maybe reach that elbow up. Maybe the fingers will touch. Maybe you can clasp the fingers. But in your zeal to make the hands come closer to each other, don't push your ribs forward and collapse your low back. So you could find a little tensional pull in your arms and a little challenge. That's perfectly fine, but not torture. And then take a breath or two here. Breathe into the front of you and focus the awareness of your next breath into the back of you. Good. And then slowly release your arms. Change your seat again. And let's get a twist in here. So sitting comfortably, relax your hips down. Take your hands onto your legs, no matter how you're sitting, and don't push hard, but just press into your thighs a little bit to invite them to relax. We're going to start twisting to your right. You can take your right arm behind you if you like, and you could take your left arm over toward the right leg. It does not have to come. See, if I come to the outer leg, I'm already twisting. So try and resist twisting with your arms. Inhale, lengthen your spine from crown all the way up through the neck spine to the your crown of your head. And then when you're ready, take your twist. And then you might find once you twist through the action of the shoulder girdle, your hand now moves more to that outer thigh with ease. Now, without looking, make sure as you twist to the right that your left leg is relaxed. Make sure you can feel both sitting bones, and make sure you're not forcing the twist. If you're doing an intense class where there's a lot of twisting passes, sure, you're definitely going to use your arms and strive for a bigger twist, but not in this class this evening. So it depends on what the aims of the class are. When you're ready, inhale, release the twist. When you do that, you may want to take your arms up. And then second side, switch the leg position. So you're bringing the left arm behind you, and the right arm over to the leg you're twisting toward. Relax the thighs, inhale, and exhale, wrap your shoulder girdle into the twist, and then let your head follow along. So where the arms aren't leading the twist, our nose isn't leading the twist, our shoulder girdle and the spine that's in that area is leading the twist. And then the arms might be able to reach a little bit more. The head may comfortably turn a little bit more. Or you might find a little bit of the twist coming a little bit below the shoulder girdle as some of those muscles decide they want to participate a little bit. Bring your awareness to your back garden, your back, and bring the awareness of your next breath to your upper back. And bring the awareness of your next up breath to your upper chest. And then when you're ready, release, inhale, come out of the twist. If you were in cross-legged position or any bent knee position that whole time, just take your legs out in front of you and just waddle them around a little bit. So now that we opened a little bit in the back and the arms, let's come to bridge pose. And we're going to do a few bridges where we're active. And then we're going to take a restorative bridge where we're using a prop to support the hips. So for supporting the hips, we'll do the active bridge second, but it's good to have your props available so you don't have to go searching for them once you're down. So you can use one block or two blocks, and I'll show you how to do that when you get there. If you don't have blocks, when you create the support with a blanket, you want to make sure it's really dense. This is just a regular old bath towel. Nothing special, and it's not particularly thick. So if you're using a bath towel, you fold it once, you fold it twice. Don't you hate when you fold something and then you can't remember how you did it? And then from here, you could fold it again. This is a little different way from the way I did it, but this works. And then fold it yet again. So it should be pretty firm is the idea. This would probably be better than a pillow because a pillow you're going to sink in. So take those props to the side and then come to lying down. If you need a blanket under your head, put it under there. But if you don't use it because we don't need one to do bridge unless as an individual we need it. Set your feet parallel. Take your arms into that right angle shape that we did a few times and kind of suction cup gently your upper arms down to the mat. And notice if that created some opening into the chest. Bring your awareness to your collarbones and just inhale here. Feel the width of your collarbones and exhale, let that go. Then when you're ready, you're going to push into your feet. So your feet are going to energize down. Your calf muscles, I don't think they really do this, but I like to think of the calf muscles energizing down. So you have all that downward motion, the arms are pressing down, and that activity is going to invite you to come up. And the action is going to come from the backs of your thighs. So the hamstrings participate in this, and the hamstrings are going to lift your butt is going to lift your low back, and your low back may lift your mid back. And then as you exhale, lower down. If you feel that your knees are waddling out to the side, take a block or pillow and place it in between your thighs so you keep the distance between your legs consistent as you go up and down. Find your this arm position. If you have another arm position you prefer, that's fine. I'm going to start with this one and then do the traditional position. Spread your toes. Inhale here, and as you exhale, sink your belly in. And then as you inhale, try not to puff your belly up. I have to really work for that not to happen. And lift up by pushing down your feet. Don't let your toes come up. Don't let the toes of one foot come up. And then see if you can stay here for 2 or 3 breaths. You can just lower right away if you need to. Relax your head. Feel that your neck maybe is getting longer. Imagine the crown of your head moving away from your tailbone. So there's length there between those 2 places. This arm position is very gentle on the shoulder, so I like it. And when you're ready, slowly lower down. Get that spine and hips down. Take a breath there. Now, if you want to come into bridge with wider legs, just see if that's more satisfying. Take your feet a little wider. You could bring them as wide as the outer edges of your mat, but again, don't let your knees flop out. You want to keep your knees in line with your ankles. And then you might want to do the traditional arms. So starting here, arms pressing down. Then turn the palms to face your hips. And then spin your arms, externally rotating them. So the palms, the crease, and the underside of the arm, like the bicep part of the arm are all looking up. Notice how when you're here, your arms, many people's arms come out a little wider. That's just the way some of us are built. So if this feels good, you're going to just do one more tweak, and that's you're going to turn your palms and your forearms down. So you remain externally rotated in your upper arm and internally rotated in your lower arm. And again, of course, you could just do the robot arms. Then as you inhale, push into your feet, slowly lift up. I have to really, really focus to keep my belly down. Good. Then some people, if you have very open shoulders, you can bring the arms a little closer. You can join your hands, kind of scooch your arms underneath you. You might see when I do this, my arms are floating. I'm very some tightness, or my forearms are also a little weird. So this doesn't really work for me. So I just kind of bring my arms a little closer. Sometimes I crisscross my arms or take one hand on top of the other. But again, it's whatever is good. Come down when you're ready and take a breath here. And now I invite you to do one more active bridge. Bridge is a great chest opener, and it's a back stretcher. We open, mostly the opening is in the front body, mostly. But choose your arm position, choose your leg position, wide legs or narrow legs, whatever works. Make sure wherever arm position you're using, you're gently pressing it down, and when you're ready, lift up. If you feel that you're collapsing a little bit, you can take a little tuck, bringing your pubic bone toward your belly button to see if that helps you get the hips a little higher so they're not literally weighing you down. Notice the opening in the hip creases here. Notice that. Take 1 or 2 or 3 more breaths in your last bridge. And then when you're ready, lower down. Rest your knees together, take a few breaths here. Now for supported bridge, so this is the toe-free bridge. You can either use the 2 blocks, 1 block, or the blanket. The prop is going to come, I'll show you lying down too. It's going to come on the center back of your pelvis. So when you come down, you want to feel that your low back curve is not on the support at all. So this is my low back curve. This is not the correct position. So you got to get that below the low back curve. And it's not necessarily going to be on your whole butt. It depends on the shape of your butt, but we want it on the back of the pelvis. So I can feel my low back curve clearly above the block here. If you're just doing a supported bridge for the first time, I would recommend not using the 2 blocks because they're a little trickier. Use the 1 block or your trusty blanket. So come to lying down, set up for bridge, and then when you're ready, press into your feet, lift the hips, and then whatever prop you're using, let's say you're using the 1 block, you're going to slide it underneath you. Sometimes the clothing gets bunched up, so you want to make sure when you bring your hips down. So, and then bring your arm underneath you and make sure you could feel not only your low back, but almost like the start of your hips. And then you want to make sure you're comfortable. Since I mentioned the 2 blocks, when we do that version, instead of sliding the block underneath us horizontal, we go like this. So the 2 blocks together make a bigger platform. And I like this because I have a very wide hips. You bring them underneath you from side to side, but the trick is you have to make sure your shirt doesn't get caught in between the 2 blocks. It's the same height. And then again, bring your hands underneath you and make sure you can feel your entire lumbar spine on your head side of your prop. And then just relax your feet down and take your arms down by your side and enjoy bridging without muscular effort. The only effort is getting the prop into place. If you find that being on the blocks isn't comfortable for you, then I would stick with the folded blanket. Sometimes I do it that way. I think I've spent so many years doing it this way that maybe my sacrum area is just like enough of that. And it wants to be on blankets more than foam. If you need to come out sooner than I call it, please come out sooner. To come out, you simply press into your feet, lift the hips, move the props out of the way, and come on down. But I'm going to invite you to stay here a little bit longer, and maybe we could do some nice things for our legs while we're here too. Close your eyes if you're comfortable. Relax your shoulders down. If you like, bring your awareness to your belly and your chest. You could place your hands there if you like, if you just want that sense of touch, but it is not necessary. And the next time you inhale, sip in a little bit more air or slow down your breath and notice if you feel the lift in the front body. You might feel it more in the belly, more in the chest, or the whole front of you might expand in equal timing. So just notice what you feel. And as you exhale, notice if you feel a condensing as the top of you sinks back toward the center. Bring that same awareness now underneath you to your back body. And as you inhale, take that slightly longer breath and notice if you feel any sensation of the back body also expanding downward. So the front and back move away from each other. Exhale and let that go. Now just breathe naturally. Then just take a few rounds of breath. You don't have to count or anything like that. Just be here. Keep the shoulders relaxed. You might notice the arms shift as you relax your shoulders. You might notice your legs might want to splay out. If that happens, I would tip them toward each other. If you're comfortable, take 3 more breaths here. Two more breaths here. One more lovely breath here. You can release now, but if you're still feeling pretty good here, you can add a leg inversion to the piece. Remember, I know I'm probably repeating myself, to come out, you press your feet down, lift your hips, take the blocks out. So if you're going to try the legs, bring the feet a little closer together, pick up your right foot, bring the leg into your chest. You should not feel like your pelvis, like a bowl, is tipping toward you. You want to keep that down. We don't want the one edge of the block digging into our pelvic region. We want the support underneath. And then if it feels okay, you could take that leg up. You might find it comes to a spot where it just floats up there and you don't really have to hold it there. So we're doing this to relax the body. So only leave it up there if it feels good. So you could do that for a couple of breaths. And then you could try the other leg. Draw it into your chest first and then unfold the leg and see if it comes to a comfortable place. Make sure, weight your pelvis down. Weight your pelvis down, because when the leg comes up, what happens is when we lift the leg up, we tend to tuck. The pubic bone comes toward the belly button, and that could lift the lower edge of the pelvis up. I'm just shifting myself a little here. And if it feels okay, still checking that my low back is completely above the props, you can take both legs up. And this is a great thing to do at the end of the day. So if you're a seasoned yogi, I'm sure you've heard of or done legs up the wall, which is a great pose, but you can simulate that here. And your legs might be a little soft. Your legs might be a little wider. You could crisscross them. Just do both crosses. You may want to enjoy the stillness, or your feet may be so happy to be up there. You may want to point and flex your feet, or your ankles rather. You may want to wiggle your toes around, make ankle circles, or again, just enjoy the stillness. I don't recommend, flexible people a lot of times will bring their legs over the head, but that almost guarantees that the pelvis is going to lift up and you're going to be putting more weight on the top of the pelvis or the top of the sacrum than the bottom. So I don't recommend that especially when you're relaxing. Again, take a few more breaths here if you're happy. Maybe you'd rather just be here with the legs bent and your heels slack to your butt cheeks. That's also nice. It gets the feet off the floor. And even though I don't have a fan on or anything, just having your feet lifted, I'm getting just nice air between my toes. You can aerate your feet. Then finally, you come back to where you started. And we've been here a while, so I would recommend that you come out now if you haven't. So you press into your feet, you bring your feet a little closer to your bottom, lift up, take out the blocks or towel, take them aside, come down, take your feet wide and rest your knees together. If you like, take your legs out on the mat the way you started and notice how your body meets the mat. You might feel after doing the bridging that your upper back feels like more of it is down. So your shoulder blades are down, but also the midrib wall between the shoulder blades. You might feel like more of your back is down and that the curve of your back is really smaller. We want the low back curve, but a lot of times it tends to be bigger than we need. So you might feel all those nice things. So you could take a breath here. And then let's add a twist in here. Take your knees wide. You can take your arms out to the side or by your side, whatever you like. I wouldn't take them higher than the shoulders. Depends how much room you have. And start tipping the knees a little bit to one side and then to the other. Notice the subtlety of the moment, the movement, and the moment. When your knees tip to the left, for example, notice how you roll over the outer edge of your left foot and the inner edge of your right foot. So if you do this slow, you get almost like a little foot massage. We're going to end up twisting. So the next time your legs come to the right, like in a pinwheel shape, keep them in right angles. Now you probably have some soft props around you. You can let the legs just surrender here, or you could take a block or a towel and place it under your legs. Your top leg, so to speak, it'll go under your outer thigh, and the back leg, it'll go under your inner thigh. Take your arms out comfortably, and if you like, turn your head away from your bent knees. Relax your shoulders down, close your eyes, and take a few breaths here. It's a nice, gentle twist. Your collarbones might feel really generously wide here. And your body might feel quite relaxed. Take one or two more breaths here with the twist on this side. When you're ready, slowly roll your feet down to the mat. Line up your feet, your shoulders, and your hips. Have your blocks handy. You might use them in different ways than you did before, or you might not need them on one side and then you need them. Inhale here. As you exhale, take your legs over to the left. So since I'm on this side, you can see the propping of the back leg. Actually, this leg is the higher one. I think I said that wrong on the other side. If I prop this leg, I don't prop it down here because the leg's not even on it. I bring the plop. I plop the prop right up into the crease, into your gluteal fold here. And that catches the leg and gives it nice support. And you can't see the other leg on this side, but this comes under your outer thigh. This would be considered your back leg. And this would be considered your front leg. And this leg is higher, this leg is lower. If you feel you want to get more of your spine down, you could shift your torso a fraction toward your left and gently release your head into a turn. You might notice that your neck turns smoothly, more smoothly than it might have earlier in the day. Take about 3 breaths here, but don't count. I'm counting them. Just breathe here. Take one more breath here. And then when you're ready, roll your feet back down, slowly turn your head back to center. Notice how you feel. If you want to draw your thighs into your belly and take one more little loving forward bend before we come to Shavasana, you can do that. You may want to stretch your legs up again. Point and flex your toes. You just may want to take a big stretch with your arms overhead. And then when you're ready, arrange your props, pardon me, as you like. So if you have some pillows handy, I didn't bring a bolster into the mix here today, but if you have a bolster and some pillows, you could put them on the edge of the side of the mat where your legs are going to be. Here, you might want something under your head. This handy folded bath towel could be nice. I won't stay in Shavasana as long as you, though. And then when you're ready, come to lying down, eye pillow. Take a sip of water if you need to before you come down. Just get yourself completely and utterly cozy. Arms out by your side, palms up. Adding props wherever you need it. Elevating your legs on a pillow. I have an invisible pillow now. Covering yourself with a blanket or an eye pillow. If your low back tends to be tender, you can press your feet down, tuck your pelvis to lengthen your spine, and you can take Shavasana in this position. It can feel very rested for the legs. They're supporting each other. Notice how your body meets the mat without judgment. If you notice that more of your back surrenders itself to the floor beneath you, that's fantastic. And if you don't notice it, that's fantastic too. Be present in your own skin and your own bones. Relax the weight of your head down. We have heavy skulls, and maybe even more heavy is the stuff we carry, the burdens that we carry in our thoughts. Relax the physical aspect of your head and your brains, but also let go of the stuff you hold onto in your mind that is causing you distress. Close your eyes like soft curtains. Relax your jaw, soften your lips, and give up your unspoken words. Surrender your right shoulder to the floor and your left shoulder to the floor. Surrender the weight of your rib cage. Allow your belly to soften, and maybe as it softens, it might take up a little more space. Maybe your whole body, as you lie on your mat, might take up more space as the muscles let go of tension. So allow that to happen. Take up all the space on the earth that you deserve. Relax your pelvis like a beautiful bowl with all of its contents. Surrender the weight of your right thigh down. Surrender the weight of your left thigh down. And imagine that the muscles, the big muscle groups that wrap themselves completely around the thighs, muscles in front, muscles in back, on inside and outside, invite those muscles to soften as if they were like a doughy Frankfurter bun. And your femur bones, your long bones are just nestled in. I might be making you hungry. Nestled into this soft roll of relaxed tissue. Relax your lower legs, right and left, 2 bones in each. So here you might imagine the muscles on the sides, back and front of your lower legs being a nice doughy roll. And there's like 2 buns in there, 2 little buns, bony buns, nestling downward, wrapped in softness. Relax your right foot, the toes of your right foot, your left foot, the toes of your left foot. Let go wherever and however you can. Letting go of tightness, letting go of your muscles, letting go of unwanted thoughts. And know that if you have an injury, sometimes those tight knots, they don't let go right away. So release any judgment also that you might have about a place of injury that even in Shavasana every now and then gives you a little ping. Offer understanding, just as you would offer understanding to another person of any place that won't let go. Might not let go tonight. It may let go another day, another moment. Surrender to stillness. Enjoy a few more moments in deep relaxation. Feel free to stay in Shavasana beyond the ending of this class. You don't need to come out when I call for it, so to speak. It's your practice in your home, so enjoy it for as long as you like. If you'd like to come out of Shavasana, you may want to start with small movements of fingers and toes. You may want to sigh, stretch, not like we did in the beginning, like gently stretch your arms behind you or up in the air, stretch your legs out in front of you. Move at your own pace, and only when you're ready, ease your way over. If you have a more comfortable side, come to the comfortable side and rest on your side for a few breaths. I recommend at least 3 breaths on your side before you come to sitting. And that's if you wish to come to sitting. You might just want to be on your side all cozy. When you do come to sitting, any seat will do, padding, no padding, cross legs, straight legs, whatever is comfortable. And when you get there, sit nice and tall, shoulders over your hips, ribs relaxed, hands relaxed, maybe palms up on your legs. Maybe you want to join your hands at your heart. Lift your heart upward, but bow your head down, releasing your neck. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om peace, peace, peace. Namaste. Thank you for joining me for this practice this evening. I hope you have a wonderful week ahead.